People look at us now and probably think, they've been together this long. They must have always had it figured out. And honestly, absolutely not. Our relationship wasn't always easy. There were moments when loving each other required patience, communication, forgiveness, and a lot of growing up emotionally. And one of the things I think makes our story so special is that we didn't just fall in love with each other. We learned how to love each other.
And I think that's something people don't always understand about long term relationships. You can love somebody deeply and still have things you need to work through, especially when you're bringing your own childhood experiences, your own fears, your own family, and your own wounds into the relationship.
Exactly. And for us, there were some really difficult things from the beginning. One of the hardest parts was dealing with the fact that my wife's mom didn't accept our relationship. And when someone you love doesn't accept the person you love, that hurts in a way that's difficult to explain. Because you're not just trying to build a relationship with your partner, you're also trying to figure out where you fit into their family.
And there were times when I felt caught in the middle. I loved Leidy, but I also wanted my family to understand me, and accept the life I was choosing. That was incredibly difficult.
And I think that period affected both of us. But I also brought something into our relationship that I didn't fully understand at the time. I had been in an abusive relationship before. There was substance use, emotional abuse, betrayal, cheating, manipulation, and constantly being made to feel like everything was somehow my fault. I had learned to protect myself by building walls.
And those walls weren't necessarily because she didn't love me. They were because she had learned that vulnerability could be dangerous.
Yes, and here's the part I didn't understand back then. I didn't know I had ADHD. I didn't understand why I reacted to certain things the way I did. I didn't understand my emotional regulation, my sensitivity, the way my brain processed conflict, or why certain situations could feel so overwhelming. So sometimes I was trying to communicate from a place of fear without even realizing that fear was driving the conversation.
And I had to learn too, because sometimes I thought, why is this happening? Why is she reacting this way? But eventually we realized that we couldn't just keep fighting the same fight. We had to understand each other.
And that's when things started changing. Not overnight, not magically, but slowly. We started learning how to communicate, how to listen without immediately becoming defensive, how to say, this hurt me, without turning it into, you're a terrible person, how to disagree without making each other feel unsafe, and most importantly, how to remember that we're on the same team.
And somehow, through all of that, Disney became one of those places where we could just be us.
Oh my God, yes. Disney is probably one of the most consistent things in our relationship.
Because we're basically kids when we're there.
We absolutely are. And I think that's why we love it so much. Disney represents something bigger for us. It's imagination. It's escaping for a little while. It's laughing together. It's eating way too much. It's walking around exhausted and still saying, okay, what ride are we doing next?
And somehow Leidy will still say, we can definitely walk there. And then 20 minutes later, she's questioning every decision she's ever made.
Listen, that's not important. What's important is that we made it.
Exactly.
But honestly, Disney became part of our story because when life was complicated, we still had those moments where we could look at each other and just enjoy being together. And I think that's important in a relationship. You can't only build your relationship around fixing problems. You have to create beautiful memories too.
Absolutely, because the difficult moments are part of the story, but they're not the entire story.
And that's what I want people to understand. If you're in a relationship that's going through a difficult season, it doesn't automatically mean the love isn't real. Sometimes two people who genuinely love each other still have a lot of healing and learning to do.
But there's an important difference between struggling together and hurting each other. Love should never be an excuse for abuse, manipulation, or betrayal.
That's so important. I learned that love isn't supposed to make you constantly question your worth. Love isn't supposed to make you believe you're responsible for somebody else's decision to hurt you. And I had to unlearn so much of that.
And I had to learn how to meet her where she was while also having my own boundaries because loving someone doesn't mean losing yourself.
Exactly. Today, when I look at us, I don't see a perfect relationship. I see two imperfect people who chose each other again and again through family struggles, through misunderstandings, through healing, through discovering parts of ourselves we didn't understand before, and through a whole lot of Disney trips.
a lot of Disney trips.
And hopefully many more.
Definitely many more.
So maybe that's our love story. Not a perfect fairy tale, but our own version of one. Because sometimes the happily ever after isn't about everything being perfect. Sometimes it's simply finding the person you can laugh with, grow with, heal with, travel with, and still look at years later and say, yeah, I'd choose you again.
I'd choose you again.
And I'd choose you every time. Keep
Keep believing, keep healing, keep rising. I'll see you next time. And don't forget to follow that lady for life, ADHD, healing, and everything in between.